Yes, thank you, one guy. Sweet. Alright, looks like all my friends are here. We can get started. Welcome to the Griffith Observatory. This is indeed our world famous Tesla coil. I am going to be showing you why it is so awesome, and I'm also going to be explaining its awesomeness in more scientific terms. So you are going to be learning a little bit here, but you're also going to be seeing some pretty cool stuff. So before further ado, I'm going to go ahead and just do this for you real quick. Now, I'm pretty sure everybody's awake now. Now, this may look familiar. You may have seen those lightning bolts from movies like Frankenstein or Young Frankenstein or even that new Spider-Man movie. Hey, but this is actually way more than just a really cool movie prop. This is actually, it is a Tesla coil, and it was actually one of the most profound inventions in the realm of science and technology. I'm going to go ahead and do that again. What it is technically is something called a step-up transformer, and I say transformer not like Optimus Prime, but in that it's taking electricity and it's boosting it up to a super high voltage. Technically, this thing is plugged into the wall just like a toaster oven. But instead of making delicious pastries, it's taking 120 volts of electricity out of the wall, out of Griffith Observatory, and it's boosting it up to 500,000 volts towards the top there. Very magical things start to happen when you do this to electricity. One of those neat byproducts, of course, are those really cool lightning bolts. But those lightning bolts are more or less kind of just a byproduct of the true magic that's happening. And it's not even magic, it's science. Every time I press this button, you may notice that that Tesla coil sign magically lights up. It's kind of mysterious. Well, that Tesla coil sign is old as dirt. It's not plugged into anything. There's no wires or special tricks like that. What's happening is every time I press this button, as the electricity gets boosted, it actually generates an invisible electromagnetic field. And I know that sounds scary, but it's not that scary. Again, every time I press this button, radio waves, which we're all very familiar with, are actually being emanated in all directions at almost the speed of light. These radio waves, again, we're very familiar with. Hopefully we've all listened to the radio at least once. But this is actually generating wireless electricity, powering that sign, using no cords at all. As those radio waves travel through the air, they interact with the various neon and argon atoms in that sign, jiggling, causing it to glow. And guys, this was invented in the 1890s. Wireless electricity may seem like a modern invention, but it's literally been around for over 100 years. We can thank the genius Nikola Tesla for that, who also invented a dozen plethora of other things that we use every single day he doesn't really get credit for. So the Tesla coil, again, as fun as it looks with those lightning bolts, it actually was meant to power cities. Nikola Tesla had this beautiful vision of not only giving us wireless electricity, but get this guys, he wanted to give us free electricity. Now I know what you're thinking, Jade, I still have an electricity bill at the end of the month. What's up with that? Why can't I have one of these babies powering my house? I agree, but there were a few technological setbacks as to why the Tesla coil would not be as functional in our houses as we would think. Number one, you did hear how loud that is. It certainly caught your attention. Well, in order to have a Tesla coil actually functioning and powering your house, it would have to be on all the time. We all have things that need to stay on 24 hours a day, like refrigerators. We have things that would taste funny if they weren't cold all the time. So if you can imagine just going your whole day, 24 hours, listening to this amazing noise, eating through this and reading to your cats through this and all that cool stuff, that noise will get real old real quick. And guess what? Inside this glass, it's actually way louder. This glass helps to insulate some of that noise, but you wouldn't really have this lovely glass if you had this powering your house. The sound that you're hearing is pretty cool though. Anytime you hear thunder or anytime you hear the Tesla coil, what you're hearing are literally a bunch of mini sonic booms. Let me explain. The air around those lightning bolts, the reason why it's glowing so much is because it's actually an electrostatic discharge, turning that air into plasma, superheating it to about 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. When you superheat air that hot, it expands faster than the speed of sound. And what you literally get are a bunch of mini sonic booms, which are really cool for a science experiment, but a terrible thing to try to sleep through every night. Another bad thing happens when you're constantly superheating the air. You're actually inadvertently creating a whole lot of something called ozone. The oxygen that you and I breathe is O2. It's 2 oxygen atoms. But when you superheat it, you actually force it apart and then it recombines into O3. Ozone is really neat on our outer atmospheres. It shields us from super scary radiation. But if you're generating ozone here on the ground level, where us humans like to do our breathing, it's actually quite toxic to breathe, and it does contribute to those smog issues that we pretty much have a lot here in Los Angeles already. So if you had a lot of Tesla coils in a city, you would actually degrade your air quality quite exponentially. So the third and foremost reason why you may have never heard of Nikola Tesla's name before about 5 minutes ago is because of a man named Mr. Thomas Edison, who I know we're all pretty well acquainted with. Well, he didn't really like to play nice. When Tesla first came to America, he actually worked for Edison. Edison, having already invested millions of dollars into a competing technology, actually hired a guy to go from city to city, utilizing Tesla's AC technology to not only electrocute and kill small furry animals in front of big groups of people like you, but he was really trying to stigmatize Tesla as this mad scientist. Unfortunately, it did work, but Tesla was a genius way ahead of his time. In fact, he used a lot of his inventions every single day without really knowing it. He doesn't get a whole lot of credit in history books. Edison does get a lot of credit for things that he didn't really have too much of a hand in inventing, quote unquote. So if you have any questions about Tesla, astronomy, science, or just want to talk about your day, my name is Jade. I'm a museum guide here at Griffith Observatory. We're literally here to talk to you guys if you do get lonely. So with that being said, thank you for sticking around. If you have a picture-taking device, you might want to point it towards the Tesla wheel. Keep your flash off. The glass likes to reflect back. So on the count of 3.
Quite